What if your next investment isn't in the market, but in brick and mortar? Before you place your next trade, you would want to watch this. In today's market brief, I am joined by a very special guest, Kobus van Rensburg, a seasoned professional property practitioner, to explore the current landscape of South Africa's property investment market. During this session, we are going to talk about interest rates, return on investment, and hot opportunities emerging in key regions like Granger Bay. Whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out, this one is for you. Kobus, welcome to the show. Could you please tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself and your company?
Hey, Francois, thank you so much for the invitation. Privileged to be on here and happy to do this talk. So my name is Kobus van Rensburg. I'm in the property game. Before this, I was in the luxury watch game and had quite a few clients looking for investment pieces, moved quite a few investment pieces. And from there, the natural transition was into property, especially into investment. And what better place to be in the property game than in the Western Cape. This place is working. It's amazing. And across South Africa, people's eyes are on the Western Cape, and not just across South Africa, but internationally. There's a lot of people, investors specifically, looking at the Western Cape. It's a great place if you're looking to buy property at the moment.
Absolutely fantastic. Kobus, thank you so much for that. I think let's start with, what's your perspective on how current interest rate in South Africa specifically is affecting property demand and your client's investment strategy?
So with property interest rates that hiked, it has slowed down a lot of people's appetite, I can say like that, and especially across South Africa. But when it comes back to Cape Town, the Western Cape, the demand remains high, and it's not stifled people's interest in buying and acquiring properties, investment properties in the Western Cape.
Absolutely fantastic. And Kobus, there's so many different types of properties that one can choose from as an investor. Now, from your point of view, what types of properties are currently showing the strongest return on investment? Would that be residential properties? I mean, while we're in Cape Town, so coastal properties, maybe multi-unit properties, or anything else that is currently showing that best return on investment for any one of our viewers watching here today?
It also boils down to what type of investor are you? What are you looking for? What's going to work for you? Because not every investor is looking for the exact same product, if I can put it like that. Some people are investing in their future. Some people are investing in their kids. Some people want a return on they want their ROI, their return on money. The commercial is, you can't go wrong. It's through the roof. In fact, it's hard to get a commercial property. If you can get one, you should take it. But then what we've seen over the last few years is especially sectional titles. Apartment blocks have popped up everywhere. Now, this is a phenomenal investment because your overheads aren't that great, and there's always somebody, there's always going to be tenants, there's always somebody going to be looking for an apartment. So with sectional titles, it's a phenomenal investment. There's so many developments in and around Cape Town, especially if we're looking at places like Paarl. Paarl is developing quite fast. There's so many opportunities to get into the market. Bloberg side, also there's quite a few sectional titles that has popped up there over the last few years. And it's a great place to start off with, because you don't have to have this ginormous capital investment right in the beginning like you would with a commercial property. You can get your foot in the door, so to speak, with a one bedroom, for instance, and you can start building your portfolio from there.
Zero commission on stocks? Yeah, nothing. What if you could get this value today? Turns out you can. Join ATFX now and let's get you started.
Absolutely fantastic. Kobus, as someone who lives and breathes property, I imagine that, well, you can maybe even sense before, there's a shift in markets before it hits the headlines. So, share with us a little bit. What signs do you personally look for when you believe a market is about to shift?
One of the biggest signs that the value is going to shift is when they start working on the infrastructure, when there's a new My City bus route or something, a new upgrade that's happening in the area, that's definitely going to affect the value. But over and above that is semigration. People moving down from Durban, from Johannesburg, from the metropoles down to Cape Town. Professionals moving down here and hotspots that people like to move to. That has a big impact on the overall value of the properties in the area. For example, again, Blouberg is one of those areas that is so popular for people moving down to Cape Town. The demand is through the roof. And if you buy now, the value just keeps on increasing. It's a very popular destination for people moving down. Same with Somerset West. Somerset West is one of those places. It's out of the hustle and bustle of the city. And a lot of people with families are looking at these places. So people moving down, demand moves up, and value keeps on increasing.
Well, absolutely. And I know I can attest to that as well, especially every single afternoon when I go back to Blouberg, where I stay, and I have to sit in that terrible traffic. So the demand is definitely there. I can guarantee you that much. So, but let's shift the conversation a little bit here. I know you as well. You know, you don't just invest in properties. I know you obviously a trader yourself as well. And we often get asked how property compares to more liquid assets like stocks or forex. So, in your view, how does property compare to other asset classes in terms of long-term stability and as well as an inflation hedge? If we have a look, property versus gold, for instance.
So, I mean, for those that have studied investments, the markets, which investments are the more secure, more safe investments, property has always been right up there with a more safe, more secure. Even though it's not a guarantee, it is something that's tangible. It's something that if you make the right choice, if you do your due diligence, do your homework, and you buy a property in the right area, it's almost a guarantee. It's almost something that is much safer, if I can say it like that, than some of the other options out there for investments. And again, I've got investor clients at the moment. We've got one investor client that I can think of right now. He's got 28 properties in his portfolio. For him, that's all he does. That's his game, and he has made a fortune through it already. He understands the market. He understands where to buy, when to sell, when to buy, and what affects the market. Again, if you don't do your homework, in like anything, like I said, I come from the luxury watch market, and many people thought if I just buy a Rolex, I will make money. Now, over the last 10 years, 20 years, the market has gone up. But if you just buy, don't go do your due diligence, don't do your homework, you might not make money. You might lose your money. And I can say the same for property. If you don't do your homework, if you just buy, not all properties out there are bargains. But overall, the demand is high. Your investment is safe. It's not going to run away. But do your homework if you want your money to grow. If you want a proper return on investment, you need to know what you're doing. Know all the pitfalls. Know all the pros and cons of getting into property, because it's not just a glorious, glamorous, I buy a property and my money grows. There are things that you need to look out for, because if you buy the wrong property, you're married to this property, you're stuck with it.
I think my biggest takeaway from that is, even though as an investor, a lot of times we do still believe that, property is this extremely safe investment, but just like any other investment, basically what you also just stated is that there is still a risk element involved. And although it is a lot safer, it still has that element of risk that traders need to look out for. Speaking about, specific investments, let's zoom in a little bit on Cape Town. It's where we all at the moment. It's literally, the mother city of South Africa. And one of the developments that is currently making the most waves of headlines that I was able to see is, the development that's currently taking place on the Cape Town waterfront, also known as Granger Bay. In your opinion, why is this such a strategic opportunity right now? And why is that specific investment literally on everyone's lips right now?
If you go look at Cape Town, I mean, there's the mountain on this side, there's a sea on the other side. There's not much more that can be developed. There's not much more land available. So the demand is pretty high. Just because of the location, you can't get a better location. Putting all these factors together, the fact that the demand is there, land scarcity, there's only so much land to go around. If you get in the right time, this is going to be a great place to invest, and you're going to definitely see a super return on investment. But this is not the only place that shows great signs of future growth at the moment. There are quite a few places, but this one definitely stands out and is something that is worth taking a look at.
Super tight spreads? Yeah, tighter than your jeans after Christmas lunch. What if you could get this value today? Turns out you can. Join ATFX now and let's get you started.
Absolutely fantastic. Just, as we wrap up, you've mentioned some great places where one can find opportunity within the market at this point in stage. Now, if there's someone watching this market brief today who is sitting on, well, some disposable income, but hasn't yet ventured into property, what would you advise as a smart first step in today's environment to get into property, and, where to start on that?
My recommendation would be to speak to someone that knows the market, knows the area. As we started out, we said not every investor is looking for the exact same product. Not everyone has the exact same appetite for risk or the exact same budget. Having said that, there's a few areas that is worth mentioning. Professionals moving down, looking for a trendy, classy suburb. These people are going to look at the southern suburbs. And the southern suburbs is a phenomenal place. This is Claremont, Newlands, those areas. Again, the demand is high. Super place to invest. If you buy the right place, the value is just going to keep on increasing. Then for people that might not have that much disposable income and that's looking more for value for money, the northern suburbs is a great option. This would be Durbanville, Bellville, also great schools. It's also showing signs of growth, but this is more value for money. It's been established for a long time and you're going to get some great deals there. Which again, what is an investment? You're putting in capital and you see it grow. Then there's the Atlantic Seaboard. What a phenomenal place to invest in. This is your luxury market. The demand is high. It's going to be high. You're going to see a return on investment, and it's all about getting a property. It's not about getting the right one. It's about getting one because the demand is just so high. Then, if you're looking for more lifestyle-orientated investment, this would be Blouberg or Somerset. Great schools, all about lifestyle. And this is for people looking for families. If you're looking for a property that you're going to rent out for a family setup, these are the places that you want to look at.
Absolutely fantastic. And, thank you so much for your time. This was such a powerful discussion. But as I'm talking to you regarding this specific topic, I feel like we've only scratched the surface. So, we would definitely have to invite Kobus back for a further discussion on how you as a trader can diversify your portfolio. And then, traders, that wraps up your daily market brief, brought to you by ATFX Africa, the broker that gives you an edge in today's markets. Simply head over to ATFX Africa and experience the difference for yourself today. Until next time, stay sharp, stay focused, and trade smart.